What's the biz, everybody? It's your boy Baker Maker, aka Dinsley, and I'm here to give you some true shit. The holidays are here, and 2023 is almost over. Last year, during the month of Halloween, I did a top 15 list ranking my favorite Disney villains. So this year, for Christmas, I'm ranking my favorite Disney female characters. So not just princesses, but women in general. I am including Pixar characters in this, but no Marvel or Star Wars characters. Now, with that said, let's get this show rolling. Despite being more of an Even Stevens fan growing up, I did see the appeal of this show. Before Jessie, Hannah Montana, or Good Luck Charlie, Lizzie McGuire was pretty much the it show for Disney Channel, for very good reasons. It had likable characters and managed to teach new lessons to the young viewers without feeling forced or super cheesy with it. In my opinion, a lot of the show's success had to do with not only the supporting cast, but also the main character herself, Lizzie. Lizzie's teenage issues helped me as well as my sisters relate to her. Yes, yes. Even though I'm a boy, I think her issues related, touch, struck a chord to both genders. If I'm being honest, I even liked the animated Lizzie as well. Her sassy personality, fine, maybe it wasn't sassy per se, but it was cool. Made me feel at home. Within the narrative of the show and through a plot device that allows viewers to hear what Lizzie is thinking, the audience gets a good picture of what it means to grow up for both girls and boys. Hilary Duff does a good job portraying her part as Lizzie, and her TV family seems so real to me. Like they really seem like they work together as a real family. You know, and it's a real shame that Hilary Duff and the executives at Disney couldn't work something out to get that whole that Lizzie McGuire revival going. Because from what I hear, yeah, those who aren't aware, there was going to be a similar to how we got a iCarly revival series. We were going to get a Lizzie McGuire revival series as well, but there was too many creative difficulties going on both parties to really work together. So unfortunately, the project got scrapped. But here's hoping maybe someday they can work something out. Fingers crossed. I love this. I love all the situations Raven gets into where she has to wear disguises. I love the voices, and I love the way she acts when she's in disguise. I love all the catchphrases, especially "ya nasty." This show gave a lot of good messages, especially most specifically are the one where Raven is told she can't model her dress because she's not thin enough, and another where Raven doesn't get a job just because she's black. First of all, Raven is a very unique Disney Channel girl because she's not thin or the supermodel gorgeous type like Miley, Lindsay before the drugs, or Hilary Duff. However, she's still beautiful in her own way and shows you don't have to look like Miley Cyrus, for example, to be beautiful. Raven is very beautiful and proves that thick girls are hot. I guess she was one of those early examples in my life that, one of my early crushes is where I really like thick women, you know. Um, Besides, I always thought she was just, very big boned anyway. Like I said, she was thick, and as you know, there's nothing wrong with it. That supermodel look may be the ideal look, but it's not the as for the other one, I want to say first that this show is awesome because, with the exception of Chelsea's actress, it's an all black cast. Not a very common thing for live Disney Channel shows at the time. It's great that they tackled a lesson about how there are still racist and prejudiced people out there, and we need to fight against, bring it out or whatever. Unlike Lizzie McGuire, we got to see Raven's story continue into adulthood as she's a single mother in the sequel series, Raven's Home. Anya is energetic, okay? That's an understatement. And while naive, she's not stupid. I do really like Anya's character, but the real reason she isn't ranked any higher uh, than this on the list is because, personality wise, she shares too many similarities with Tango's Rapunzel. Still, I really like how her story, as well as her character in Frozen, was written. Similar to Rapunzel, she has spent a long number of years isolated from the rest of the world, thus making her very sheltered. However, it was through Anna's story that the writers of Frozen were able to poke fun at the classic Disney trope of a princess getting with someone they just met in a short period of time, because in Anna's case, it made a lot of sense why she would do that. One of the things that really separates Anya from Rapunzel is her awkwardness. Whether it's her just talking or a lack of good postures, making her a bit of a spaz compared to most Disney princesses in Disney films. Also, I'd say she's more optimistic compared to Rapunzel. While she agrees to be engaged to Prince Hans at the beginning of Frozen, not a complete bad idea, by the way. Sarcasm. She always thinks about her sister first. Anya doesn't let love get in the way of family, and always puts Elsa before anyone else. And she gets points for punching Prince Hans in the face. That was priceless. Its sequel, Frozen, in my opinion, gave us a really moving Anya moment in which Anya finds herself trapped in a cave and totally alone after watching Olaf disintegrate, and realizing that meant something horrible had happened to Elsa. We know Elsa and Olaf are most likely going to be fine because we know how these movies work. The point is that Anya doesn't know this. Her moment of grief is written so well that we're able to suspend our disbelief as if we're right in that cave with her, trying to figure out how to survive in a world that suddenly changed beyond recognition. This was such a stark contrast to how Anya is usually portrayed. After all, she's the ray of sunshine to her sister's ice and snow. The realization that grief and depression are things that can affect anyone, including the perky princess Anya, is what makes the scene hit a lot harder. At one point, she even starts to feel hopeless, and I myself have had those moments. So this scene definitely hits closer to home. Luckily, with baby steps, Anya slowly manages to get back on her feet and regain her will to survive. All this while singing the next right thing, which starts off her giving into grief to her slowly fighting through it. Now, people can say whatever they want about Frozen and its sequel, but this scene right here will always stick with me, and why I have always come to look at Anya as more than just a Rapunzel knockoff. Yes, Anya, I would most definitely go build a snowman with you. Cinderella is initially made a servant in her home and is constantly derided by her evil stepmother, Lady Tremaine, and two stepsisters. Although she is abused and humiliated, she maintains hope through her dreams. She is faithful to the idea that someday her wishes of happiness will come true. Cinderella is strong-willed and determined. She is presented in the film as a sympathetic heroine, well-meaning, hardworking, and positive. She's seen in a very powering role and finally learns that if you want a dream to come true, you have to help make it come true yourself. I do not believe it's possible to reduce an audience to more tears than in the moment Jesse sings When Somebody Loved Me. It's about as heartbreaking as Pixar has gotten in a single moment. And we see just how damaged a character Jessie is. And not in a diminishing way. When we first see her, she's just so energetic and sprightly. But when she breaks down, we see some real fear and cracks in the woodwork. No pun intended. This is somebody whose value has ceased in the eyes of her best friend, and she's been stuck in that moment for so long, recalling it with extreme poignancy. For the midpoint of this series, she's the most crucial ingredient to throw in the mix. Smart, funny, sweet, and sassy is basically the short description I can give to this character. Now that I think about it, it could also be used for some of the other characters on this list as well. In the movie, Ralph winds up fighting with and then helping Vanellope von Schwitz, a seemingly cute little girl who's also a hilariously scrappy, smart aleck. She's a glitch in the game who wants to win the race the game is based on so that she can be a permanent character, something that King Candy desperately wants to prevent, telling Ralph it'll plunge the game into anarchy. Believe me, this is the short version. Everyone else in the film does a good job and each bring unique qualities to the movie, but Sarah Silverman's Penelope is the real treat, bringing a bracing humor to her little girl sweetness. Something Silverman does in much more profane ways in her stand-up act. In the second film, Ralph Breaks the Internet, she goes through a bit of a soul-searching arc. As the movie starts off, her and Ralph trying to save her game, Sugar Rush, from being unplugged into finding her true desire. One of the coolest moments in the film was her interacting and bonding with the Disney princesses, since she's technically a princess herself, though if I remember correctly, denounced herself as princess and instead proclaimed herself as president of Sugar Rush. But whatevs. You see, most of the Disney films, the leading lady usually have a I want song or a song expressing their deepest dreams or desires. And it was during her conversation with the various princess that inspires Vanellope to tap into her deepest desire and find her own song, which later turns out to be part of a new and exciting world outside of Sugar Rush, and winds up in Slaughter Race, and comes to realize this game may be her destiny. She just wants some unpredictability in her life, and she's gotten bored with going through the same stuff with Sugar Rush. One could say she's very much a thrill seeker since she is still a kid after all. With that said, I think she still values her friendship with Ralph and wouldn't want to give that up completely, despite the separation they do eventually have at the end of at the end of the film. Sassiest Disney female ever? Some may disagree, and to those people, I say you are wrong. No one is as sassy as Meg. She's already fine as hell, but she got that snarky attitude as well as being quick-witted to go with that slender body of hers, which just adds so many more points to her sex appeal. You want to know the crazy thing here is? Originally, when I did this list nearly 9 years ago, I had ranked Meg at number 14. But again, as the years gone by, my love and appreciation for this character has grown so much to the point that when I was remaking this top 15 list, it had honestly hurt me too much to keep her so low on the list. So I moved her up to the top 10. I know for some people Meg is their faves. And honestly, I wouldn't blame anyone for saying that. She's definitely one of, if not the most relatable Disney female character. And the fact that I chose to rank 9 gals above Meg should tell you that these characters I've included on this list are something special. And trust me, Meg is definitely among the top tier females in Disney. Otherwise, she wouldn't even be on this list. Where do I start? She's part of Hades' group because she gave up her soul to save her ex-boyfriend, only for him to leave her for another girl. Ouch! So when she meets Hercules, she's not all that impressed at first. But of course, she falls for him later on like any other Disney main gal. But the sass, her sassiness is what makes her such a great character. She's 75% sass overall. And let's be honest, I won't say I'm in love is an earworm. It might be one of, if not the best song in the movie. Meg is one of the most sexually confident Disney characters. After all, at one point in the film, she shamelessly flirts with Hercules, suggestively talking about her weak ankles. She even gives him a casual pet name, Wonder Boy. She's a smooth operator, and I respect that. Of course, she was doing this just to get her to let his guard down by seducing him to give away his weakness to her so that she can deliver the info to her employer, Hades. Now, admittedly, she does do some really immoral stuff, but you get why she does it. Like I said before, she's pretty much indebted to Hades, the lord of the underworld. He pretty much owns her soul after all. Plus, she pretty much had given up on love due to being emotionally burnt in the past, which explains why she starts off so cynical and bitter. Again, these traits of hers are some of the things that makes her so damn unique among Disney's lead females. Still, what she does is wrong, and she knows it. Despite this, she plays enough of a heroic part in the movie to be classified as a heroine, rather than just a romantic interest. Similar to Herc, she has her own character arc, which gets completed by the end of the film. Granted, with the help of Hercules, she learns how to open her heart to others, but she also showed Hercules what it meant to be a true hero by risking her life to save Hercules, thus making her a hero of her own right, in her own right. And that's the gospel truth. When the little lion prince gets run off by his big bad uncle Scar, Nala loses not only her future king but her best friend, that rascally cub with whom she wasn't afraid to play rough and remind him that girls could still beat him. Lioness are the ones who do the hunting after all. Why, which is why would Simba ever best her in anything? And in his return, she's not exactly the friendliest little kitten either, but is willing to overlook her own hurt ego in the spirit of their friendship. She believes in Simba and doesn't understand why he wouldn't want to fight for his right to rule. Nala is a good per lion, and she even stands up to Scar. Nala is like the Aristocats, Marie, all grown up after all. The girl has a spirited and highly eccentric personality, especially in the light of her parents' death. She has alienated herself from her fellow children, yet Lilo makes the perfect best friend for Stitch, an alien experiment whom she adopts as her dog. Despite her oddball personality, she seems to have a very creative side that not all of the people tend to notice. Lilo is a young, feisty Hawaiian girl who is brave and devoted in the face of danger. She stands up to people who mock her out of this world pal Stitch, her powerful belief in Ohana, or family. Why is this chick on the list, you may ask? How about tricking Gothel, hating Flynn/Eugene with a frying pan 3 times, blackmailing him, stopped a bunch of thugs from killing Flynn/Eugene, using her hair as a light in a cave, convincing Maximus to not arrest Flynn, stood up to Gothel and convinced Gothel to let her save Flynn before she got her happily ever after. And even after all of that, she made Eugene wait to marry her and didn't fall in love with him at first sight. Plus, she later receives a TV series that does a wonderful job expanding her story as well as the lore behind her powers. So yeah, she's awesome enough to be on this list. Elsa is a complicated person. I'm sure of that. Scared, yet scary. Fearful, yet powerful. Beautiful, yet dangerous. Does that cover Elsa yet? She's the modern-day Cinderella, the fairy tale for today. Her story is all about conquering fears, embracing who you are, and taking charge. Elsa has the powers of ice, which she is afraid of unleashing of those she care about. But when she finally unleashes her powers, she goes from scared child, holding it in, to sexy babe, all while singing one of the best Disney songs ever, Let It Go. Elsa's fear of her powers gets Anna frozen, but the love for her sister thaws her out. Power of love isn't complete bullshit. Thankfully, Frozen 2 does focus more on her as well as her explaining the origin of her ice powers. By the end of the film, it does feel like her story has been completed as she not only becomes even more powerful, also becomes more confident with her abilities and heroic, gains knowledge behind the history of said powers, and she passes the position of Queen of Arendelle onto Anya and stays behind to live with the Northuria as the Force's protector. Finally at peace with herself and with both the freedom she's always wanted and her bond with sister stronger than ever. So I'm curious to see what more of her and Anya's story can be told with the upcoming sequel, Frozen 3.
Most moms have a hard time balancing work, kids, soccer games, and PTA meetings. But Elastigirl also battles bad guys and saves her husband from an untimely demise. Elastigirl is sassy, quick-witted, but most of all, she's always flexible.
The image of Nemo, the cute little clownfish, may be the thing that first pops into your mind when considering Pixar's 2003 blockbuster. But it's Dory, the goofball blue ting with a bad memory who truly stole the show in Finding Nemo. Voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, Dory is easily the most hilarious comic relief character in all of the Pixar films. And that's saying something. Despite her memory loss, there's no debating Dory's good-hearted nature. Without her, Marlin and Nemo would have never been reunited. Plus, she and Marlin make an excellently odd couple. What can I say about Jasmine? How about she don't take shit from any of the male characters, and she refuses to marry any rich punk? Not to mention, she has a freaking pet tiger named Raja. How hard was it to tame that beast? I like how she was able to figure out Prince Ali was really Aladdin in disguise early on. And let's not forget the noble sacrifice she made for the world when she kissed Jafar. Talk about taking one for the team. Whoever says the woman isn't a team player obviously don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I truly believe that out of all the princesses of Disney, I always thought she was the prettiest, and I still do to this day. On the surface, she may seem like your average damsel in distress, but Belle is no shrinking violet. Belle doesn't hesitate to exchange her own life for her father's when he's locked away in a scary castle with a seemingly untamable beast. And she manages to keep up a cheerful attitude while she does it. I love Belle because she's a bookworm, because she loves fairy tales, which kind of gives a whole weird meta level to this movie, and because she's a completely ordinary woman who gets put in extraordinary circumstances. The fact that there's nothing really special about her, she's not a princess, she's not cursed, she doesn't have magical powers or a fairy godmother or any of that ish, that gives her kind of a grounded, mundane feel. Which isn't to say that being a normal peasant meant she felt normal. I like how she stuck out, how she had trouble relating to people. I mean, who on the internet hasn't felt that feeling of being weird, of having different interests than other people? I like how she's kind-hearted, but not to the point of letting people walk over her. I like how she has a mature, calm personality while still having somewhat childish dreams and a reckless sense of curiosity. Belle is an amazing character, probably the first female Disney heroine to actually read as a hobby. In the end, she proves that with a pure heart Even the ugliest of guys can win a pretty girl's heart. A girl who isn't shallow, of course. When the film begins, Princess Gazelle is an innocent, romantic young woman living in the land of the kingdom Andalusia. She converses with animals regularly who also assist her in making dresses from unusual materials. Later, when she crosses over into New York, she is shown to be quite naive. She matures over the course of the film and develops more of an understanding of the concept of love. Despite her naive qualities, Gazelle is extremely brave and resourceful, as shown by her nearly escaping a troll at the start of the film and standing up to the evil queen Narsa at the film's climax. While Snow White is known as the chick who started it all, as far as Disney feature full-length films go, Ariel started the best decade ever for 2D animation, the Renaissance era. Sassy, feisty, and full of life, Ariel is a wistful heroine who knows how to have fun. Along with her BFF, Flounder, Ariel seeks out adventure at every turn. One of her attractive qualities is that she is very definite about what she is doing and very confident about her own ability to succeed. Of course, a good deal of that confidence is ill-placed, as she is just a teenager. While she's definitely a romantic at heart, Ariel doesn't subscribe to the one day my prince will come philosophy. Instead, she fights tooth and nail to find him herself, no matter the cost. Unlike her perfect predecessors, Ariel makes mistakes, big mistakes, mind you, that risked many lives besides her own. While some call her selfish, I've never gotten that impression. I've always seen Ariel as a completely selfish person who is at the same time completely self-centered. Most of what I liked about her character not only came from the Little Mermaid movie, but also the show, which clearly defines her character even more so. She, as most teenagers are, is looking for someone who she can love and be loved for in return. This particular character has always stood out to me because of her true human character, which is a flawed one. Plus, being the second prettiest Disney princess of all time certainly doesn't hurt either. But in all seriousness, the Little Mermaid not only brought a new era of animated films, but a wonderful heroine in the form of Ariel. And I was just gonna end it there with that note, but there's some more things I wanna point out before I end this portion of the video. Also, two more things actually. One, I want to dispel this whole notion that Ariel gives off the bad notion that you basically have to give up your voice for a man. That's basically what she did, but that's not actually the case. She didn't give up her voice for a man. She didn't do all. She did it. Yes, being with Eric, getting a chance with Eric, that came with the caveat, but that wasn't really the reason. The reason why she did what she did was basically so she. I mean, the whole. It says it in the song, her "I Want" song, part of your world. It wasn't necessarily just to be with Eric, right? To be with the guy she met. She wanted to be part of the world. She wanted to. She's an adventure. Yes, she's a romantic, but she's also an adventurous at heart. She's a very adventurous person. She likes being out there. She was very curious about the world, being around the surroundings, its new environment and stuff. The fish out of water story perfectly fits Ariel's character to a T. That's what she wants. She wanted to be part of that world, not just for Eric, but for herself. To be open-minded, to see that humans aren't as bad as what her father claims claims. Yes, granted, yes, she shouldn't have, made a deal with a shady sea witch like Ursula. Yeah, like I said, she made a big mistake. She made mistakes, but again, she's a teenager. But we teenagers have done tons of dumb stuff, back in our teenage years. You know what I'm saying? But but so that's one. And then here's another thing that I think is very important to address in the year of 2023. So Ariel's character, one of the things I love about Ariel's story is that it's pretty much relatable. It resonates to anybody, regardless of who you are, boy, girl, or even race. Doesn't matter. And that's the beauty about her character. Unlike, say, for instance, Mulan or Tiana from Princess and the Frog, her story has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin. I repeat,
Ariel, the Little Mermaid story has absolutely nothing to do with the color of her skin.
or her race. So practically anyone can be her. Anyone can play her. If it's for instance, I don't know, if they were to make a live action movie starring her, or a live action musical, which, oh, surprise, surprise, they have, and they've all turned out decent. And regardless, like I said, anyone can play. Ariel's story doesn't have nothing to do with her being Caucasian, Asian, Black, Mexican, Latino. Doesn't matter. That's the beauty about Ariel's character, and I really adore that. And I think that a lot of people have lost touch with that notion. Please, let's bring that to the light, okay? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I wanted to say, Ariel's great. She's a great character. Like I said, she basically kickstarted one of the greatest eras in Disney, and I think she should be held in the very similar high regard as, say, Snow White. Ariel is just simply fantastic. Wow, that was terrible. Up until 2002, Mulan would have kept the top spot for being the bravest, smartest, and most fearless Disney heroine to date. At first, Mulan doesn't seem to fit in her world. Everything a proper young Chinese girl is supposed to be: graceful, demure, quiet. She's she is not. But when her homeland and family are threatened by an invasion of bloodthirsty Huns, Mulan runs away to join the army in her aging father's place by disguising herself as a man. There, she learns that her courage, intelligence, and determination offer her a way to bring honor to her family and herself. She learns quickly and it eventually helps to save the imperial city from the invading Huns. While there are plenty of Disney princesses out there, Mulan is one of the very few real warriors. So yeah, this bitch is bad news for anyone who'd want to fuck with China. And speaking of bad bitches, before I reveal the number one spot, let's take a look back at all the females I've introduced into this list so far. Now, this unstoppable redhead is the true definition of a bad bitch. Kim is a normal teenager who happens to be a super agent. She's a very cool, popular cheerleader who someone all the kids should strive to be like. Like the Powerpuff Girls, Kim lives in a world colored, hip, and retro, playing off the campy spy movies of the 1960s and 70s. Though Kim's not someone to be messed with when the chips are down, she never comes off as a heartless machine. She can be bossy at times, sure, but she's a good-natured person who helps others in need. She's also a good female role model. By itself, saving the world is no big. But Kim, on top of having her best friend and partner the Ron Stoppable, who unfortunately lives up to his name a lot. Despite that, the girl kicks major ass and still manages to study for her finals. She somehow manages to make even the most difficult feats seem so easy. However, much like Buffy Summers, she still have the heart and hormones of a teenage girl. At times, she does get scared and worried whenever she deals with tough life situations. However, she always has friends and family to support her no matter what. Taking the number one spot for my favorite Disney heroine, Kim Possible, reminds me that nothing is impossible. So comment below, let me know what you guys think of the list. I'm sure y'all's lists are very different from mine, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine to, have our own opinion on such and such stuff. Who's our favorite Disney female characters and whatnot. But yeah, comment below, let me know. Tell me who is your favorite female Disney character. Whether it be Kim Possible, whether it be Mulan, whether it be Ariel. Like I said, comment below, let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like these, and most importantly, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I do post these videos. Now with that said, stay beast.
Call me, beat me if you wanna reach me.